Let us now pray together, shall we, friends? As Paloma said, let us raise our vibrations. The world needs our help so much, especially today. Dear God, in the gravity of the current scenario, we don't want to sleep. We want to be vigilant with you. We have learned with John and some of your other disciples that we may get distracted when you need us the most. So we would like to join you in true awakening, holding a current of hope and joy in the midst of the latest news. We believe in you. We believe in the power of love and only love. But we also understand that ignorance still prevails and selfishness is still running wild inside and around us. May in this first meeting of the year 2020 be the opportunity in which we join forces with you, creating a field of vibration that promotes protection and also that promotes peace. We pray especially for those in the spiritual realm and material realm who work in the industry of war. May they feel the loving call of on high and the loved ones of each one of them asking them to change their hearts and forget the reasons that may justify any war. Breathing deeply the air of the soothing vibrations that are now falling upon us, we receive your permission to begin our meeting tonight in its sacred space at this sacred moment, and so be it. Okay, before our children go inside, we want to say a few things, okay? You can wait, Vivi. You can wait just a little bit. Sit, please. Thank you. Okay, so first, I'll pass around the list. Yes. The list for the homeless service on Sunday, right? We're gonna pass around now, so it's much easier. During this time, we can already sign up. You see that we need the name, and then whomever wants to volunteer to bring the bananas, the water, the flowers, and even transport some of the bins of supplies, because it's always helpful. Usually Some of us do it, but if you want to volunteer with your car, it helps a whole lot for the whole team, okay? We're gonna pass it around, and I know Daisy's gonna find a pen that can stay here. The other thing is, since we are beginning the new year, all of us parents, including ourselves, receive a folder with the news again, just revisiting all the points and talking about we are not disclosing yet the whole year program, but the idea, the dynamics, in the form. Every year we sign the liability form, the release form, but now we made it easier for families of more than a child. So you can sign the name of the child in one form. It's much easier. But it's very important that we do this consent form today. And you see on the back of our letter something new. And we're saying this out loud to everybody because everybody can participate. The center sustains itself with the help of friends and families, but you know, it's a nonprofit organization. And we provide snacks to the children, educational materials, and our lessons are unprecedented. We don't copy from anywhere. They are given by the good spirits, our team work on it, and it's really something quite unique. So we would say if the parents want to help, there is a list, a very short list. If you want to give more, you can, it's like a supply list, like color pencils, etc., just to help us, you know, throughout the year, even snacks, because those come at some cost. So some people always ask, how can I help? So we thought about it, how people can help more. This is one way. There are more ways. We're gonna talk to you along the way, but this is an easy way, very easy. We're not gonna ask for money, though people make donations, and since we are a nonprofit organization and we're tax exempt, you can always get, you know, tax. It's tax deductible everything that you donate. Okay, and the last thing today, we have a bake sale. Yay! This is just one. There are delicious things inside. This is like boxes of brigadeiro. Yeah, Brazilian chocolate truffles made this afternoon. So we have some of them. Of course, you're invited to, because this, some people ask, but how much money do you raise? It doesn't matter. A penny helps. 2 pennies helps more. 3 pennies, much more. 3,000 pennies, much, much more. Okay, so it's a way for us to remind ourselves that we can always contribute in so many ways. Okay, and I think that's it for now. Did I forget anything? No, I think I did it. So Daisy, Miss Luciana, Miss Daisy will lead a beautiful lesson. It's about being citizens of the earth. Whoa, that's a big deal. Enjoy, enjoy, okay, friends? Yeah, I can turn it off, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna love it. Okay, I think that's helpful, Carlos. Is that better? Yeah? Okay, so Paloma, we're gonna begin where Paloma started it. Conversations. Conversations. Nowadays with social media, we're so powerful. We're as powerful as a reporter. Yeah? Huh? You're the reporter of the family, or the work reporter, or the community reporter, with a Twitter, with Facebook. There's so many things nowadays. But there's also texting on your phone, there's WhatsApp, there are groups, and then we become the people who make the news. That's huge. There's much responsibility behind it. Tonight, we begin the new year by calibrating ourselves in this unique ability that humanity has to communicate the power of words. We're not trained in schools to speak well, are we? No. The teacher says, speak up. Speak up what? Anything. And that goes wrong. Go to the principal. Right? And then we go to the principal. It doesn't work. So if you talk about social intelligence, because we are social beings, we are going to revisit the fact that we are beings that by principle seek one another's presence. We do. We seek one another's presence. Seek the presence of our family, friends, and even for people who say, I am a loner, I like to be not necessarily. Actually, it's a byproduct of something that got spoiled along the way. But we're social beings. In England, we had thinkers like Thomas Hobbes, who thought, no, we're not social beings. We're actually like the bad wolf. We would eat somebody else if they are on our way. And pretty much it happens. He's right. In some way, we will go after our goals, and if people are in our way, we may displace them. Not necessarily, but some people still do. And other people, like the French Jean-Jacques Rousseau, he actually thought that in spite of it all, the corrupted part of our society, we, in our deepest nature, we long being together. Jean-Jacques Rousseau inspired Pestalozzi, who educated Kardec, and Kardec educates us. I'm not going to say we're going to buy into that just because, but reasoning tells us that our current neurobiology proves to us that we have an inbuilt system to be social. We have even molecules inside of us that are released to bring us closer together, like oxytocin. When it's released, we feel like this bond with people. Particular times in which oxytocin is being released, when a mother is breastfeeding, it happens. So then there's this feeling of being closer together, like belonging, etc. So we have a biology that points to the direction that we're social beings. And we have a social intelligence that we need to educate. We're learning it. We don't know, but we need to know. So pause for a second, all of us, since it's a new year. And some people think that a new year is a human invention, but it's not. Physically, the planet completed a rotation around the sun. And the months happen because of physical things. So we're not creating anything. We're just giving names to actual physical events. And we're being smart enough to understand that we should go along and renew ourselves. Each season has a particular, not only meaning, but a purpose. Each year is an opportunity for us to progress. For us spiritists, we know we progress always. So for us, we need to ask, are we the people who go from work to home, home to work? Don't raise your hand, that's okay. But if we are, red alert. Why? Because we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to add, learn. But learn what? You want to get out of the family problems? Start a new course. Do a course on something. It doesn't need to be a master, PhD or something. Go to Michael's, do a course on knitting. You think it's not important? It's very important for the health of the body, for the brain. You don't need a degree. You don't need to show everybody, and don't even to show social media. Oh my gosh, now oh, should I sell it? Just, I mean, you can, but that's not the point. The point is expanding abilities. Take a course on an instrument. It's important for the brain. Some people, when they get to elderly years, they're like, why Alzheimer? Why? You're not using the brain. The brain is saying, shrink, please. It's saving energy because we don't want to learn. We want to keep ourselves in the same old stuff. I have never met anybody in their 70s, 80s, 90s who went through a neurodegenerative disease and were people who were truly engaged in learning the new. All the ones that I know that are doing well in those years are people who are constantly open to the new, learning the new, open to help people out. They don't end up that way. I'm not going to say it won't happen, but the likelihood diminishes. Neuroscience proved in 2002, it's almost 20 years ago, 18 years ago, they proved to us that our brains will grow new neurons when we expose ourselves to new scenarios and we repeat it. But if I go from home to work to home, the new disappears. The brain has a lot of capacity to expand, be used. We don't use it. The body says, can you please save some energy and shrink? And it shrinks. And one of the things that happens in neurodegenerative diseases is the shrinkage of. We lose mass. Yesterday, big news in neuroscience showing to us that there is a new way for ourselves to communicate, one that is different from animals. When we compare the communication of our neurons between rats, primates, and humans, for the first time using a special technique, they found out that our cells communicate in a very particular way. And that's so beautiful because it shows to us that we're not only different in the 1% of our gene code, but in also the dynamics of the communication of our cells, the cells of our brain, which command everything. So why are we pointing out to that direction? Because the good spirits want us as humans to be human. Jesus came to teach us to be humans. To be animal is like this, survive. Animals eat, sleep, have sex, have fun. They do. Science proves it to us. They have fun. And they have social intelligence too. They have to learn how to be in and out of their own groups. If we're doing just that, they work because they have to work for their survival. We can no longer be like that. It's beautiful for an animal to be like that, but for us humans, it's another level. The arts, oh, I don't like the arts. Learn to like it. Because it's very human. Very human. If there is a thing that is very human, arts. We need to expand it. It's not about reading books, being smart, getting degrees, but it's about abilities that humans can have, and only humans. One of them, the power of words. That is very human. And whatever we want to do, to refine it, we're investing in our immortality. So if you go to the app Audible, there are many interesting audiobooks of experts teaching us how to increase vocabulary in any language, including English. Listen to the audible books or YouTube if you can't pay or don't want to pay. People who are teaching us how to expand vocabulary, because when we have more vocabulary, we communicate better in any language. I'm not saying only in English, any language. Or learn another language, which is very important. Or learn how to more effectively communicate with people in different scenarios, not only public speaking, but sometimes being effective communicating in our family. There are people who have written books about it. It's interesting to listen to it or to read those books to sharpen it up. Interesting enough, in the Spirit's book by Allan Kardec, we're gonna see here, they say, it's question and answer 666. God has made humans for living in society. Otherwise, God would not have needlessly given them speech and all the other faculties necessary for a life of relationships. Isn't the speech part where we get ourselves in trouble most of the time? But curious enough, what is these other faculties that are necessary for a life of relationships? We're talking about humans. Humans. We need to live in society. So if people say, I want to begin a new year, a good thing we're going to invest on is how to live better in our relationships in general. That's one of the best investments we could make. Any course we take in that direction, any book we read or listen that will help us understand more about the human mind and the way we connect with people. So think about this. Let's brainstorm a little bit. What do you think this is? Other faculties necessary for a life of relationships. The faculty, it's like the ability to feel. Animals feel too. Yeah. Listening, faculty to listen. What else? What else, friends? What other things that are very human and pertain to the life of relationships? The capacity to be empathetic. Yeah, they have glimpses of it, but not like a human level. You're right.
They don't have empathy for somebody that they don't know necessarily, like child in wild ball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. A dog may have for another dog. They have experiments showing it. Like that the dog, if you give food to this one and not to the other one, this one will observe that, something is off. So interesting. We name it empathy, but it may be like glimpses of it. But you're right. No awareness about somebody who is remotely living in this planet, right? Thank you. Narciso, welcome.
Think of good things.
Yes. Yes. The capacity to reason and to think well. There are so many things. The beauty of the answer of the spirits is that it makes us think. So this is homework for us. Let's focus tonight on the first part, okay? Because if we start on that one, the other ones will open up, right? So let us then go to this speech part. And then in Matthew, at Jesus' time, from the same mouth proceeds blessing and curse. Right? I love you, I hate you. Well, Masaru Emoto showed it to us. This Japanese researcher who discarnated, I had the opportunity to meet him in person. You could tell, yeah, in 2006 in Baltimore, he gave a conference there. You could tell he was really a visionary, a missionary. We await the replication of these experiments that he's done. But so compelling, when we go to the Spiritist literature, we find that his conclusion is to the direction of what we imagine. We're talking about vibration. So he shows, for example, water crystals. He freezes the drops of water and then he took pictures. But he did experiments such as taking a glass or a bottle of water and either putting the labels or having people say stuff to it, but like words of love and encouragement. And on the other one, words of hatred, anger, criticism. And this is a crystal of water that looks like a snowflake, symmetrical as he says. It's pure like a snowflake. So you see, it shows to us the vibrational harmony that were imprinted in the water. And the reverse. The water and the words of hatred, anger, criticism, when it was frozen, it didn't form the beautiful snowflake. We don't want to be simplistic here. We don't want to be researchers either, because if we were scientists here, we could go the whole night and many days going through the protocols and finding out and trying to understand more. But let us say, it's not a dogma or a belief. But we understand that we are energy beings. And that water in itself, now with quantum physics, we know we vibrate at quantic level, to say the least. So when we say words, we're imprinting things. Remember, the physical body is mostly water. Oh my God. And then there are people who spend the whole day saying, oh, I'm so dumb, I'm so dumb. And the water molecules are just repeating. We are saying it to ourselves when we're not listening from others. Parents, educators who say, you don't amount to anything. We're stamping our vibration. So before we go on and analyze other aspects on the power of speech, let us assess how are we doing in that regard. Are we alert to this power, or are we just trashing our lives out, our water bodies and the planet, which is mostly water, by contributing with our non-harmonious speeches? So here we have choices. What have we been doing? For those who were not here before the new year when we had a meeting, We were mentioning something very interesting because some people say, but Vanessa, what about in a moment of desperation? Okay, a moment of desperation is okay. But if I am desperate all the time, that's a problem. And then Emmanuel, in a message that we're translating and we'll publish and study together one day, he talks about selfishness and says that desperation is selfishness in sadness. So when we're desperate, it's a sign that we're selfish. Because we think if our world doesn't go the way we expect, we're doomed. Well, but there are people who are happy right now. Why do I think I should go desperate? Because we're the center of the world, and if the world doesn't go by the way that I believe, then we're doomed? It's egocentrism. So he's showing to us that we need to tame that selfishness inside of us. And we would say, and forgive me because I'm not a role model, but being a mother, it's one of the things that are of attention, constant attention, is our parenting skills. We need to pay attention. To be a good parent is not to say yes to our child all the time. Sometimes they feel safe when we say, do your best. But mom, I want this. Sit down and do what you need to do. They feel safe. Right? Janie is a teacher, she knows. How many children are there begging to have parents that give some limits to them? And parents, egotistic as they are, narcissistic as they are, they want to be nice. They want to be just a good, nice friend, but they are not. Because when you love someone, you put limits. And you say no. And you say, not now. But we also say encourage them to their best. And to encourage somebody to their best, we need to do it with ourselves first. If we as parents don't challenge ourselves to new challenges, to new limits, we won't be able to help our children. The parents and educators who do not keep expanding, like what the famous continuing education, and we're not saying about the intellect only, it's about emotional education, social education, all these abilities that we don't know. If we don't work on them, we're not going to be able to help our children effectively. We don't want them to be like us. They're supposed to be better than us. That's called progress. We don't want our children to be like us. Better doesn't mean a better speaker, a better lawyer, a better teacher, a better physician, a better human being. Because whatever professional path they take is irrelevant. If they have 10,000 skills, 10,000 degrees, but they are unhappy. I know people who have PhD and are this close to suicide. Who have a lot of money. Who are this close from committing homicide. That external ability is nothing. We're talking about what Kardec said in his comment to question and answer 685. He says, we're talking about the education that changes habits, ethical, moral education. We're talking about the polishing of our ability to be better. How often you think of yourself, I'm not a patient person. I'm not tolerant. And you are just fine with it. I said, that's the way I am. My family already knows. Everybody knows. And that's how I am. No. Look at yourself in the mirror. Don't punish. But let us look at ourselves in the mirror saying, I believe I am loving. Even if you look at yourself in the mirror, don't see that person yet. I am loving, not I will be loving, because will doesn't exist. I am loving. Time is just a relative feature of our life here, this life that we live on earth. For God, everything is timeless. In God's eyes, we're perfect. That's why Jesus looks at us and already sees us there. That's why he looked at Peter and said, Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times before the rooster. Does what? What does the rooster do? Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh. Increase the vocabulary, Vanessa. You see? I'm doing my homework. Signed up for the audible things. Okay, so you see? He knew it. Did he give up on Peter? No. But he knew Peter would, and he did. He knew Judas was twisted in his mind. Did he give up on Judas? No. Until the last minute, he called Judas a friend. At the very moment that Judas came to kiss him, he asks, friend, what have you come here for? He still invests. Imagine God. So we are better than we imagine. We need to work on it. And one of the beautiful things is to learn how to speak in the healing tone, in the healing proposal, which is educational, believing in us and in others, always. As we speak and we think, we make connections. This picture was mediumistically received by Clara Barnett. She was an American spiritualist medium in the 19th century. And a spirit physician brought these teachings to her in the drawings to show about interaction with the spiritual realm, showing to us the influence of spirits in our lives. So, at the end of the day, we're talking about the law of the mental field. As we attune with, we're going to attract. What are we attracting? Things that we have thought and done in the past, but nowadays we can change it. You're home cooking, worried. You bet. When we were cooking these brigadeiros, we were singing happy songs. So, to make sure that Virginia and I were there, exercising ourselves, it's not easy because I, as an adult, was like, oh my gosh, the time, we have to do this. Okay, Virginia, help me. Let's put a song that, So put a song, forget about time. And doing it timelessly, it's a practice for us. You're cooking, it needs to be with joy. We need to emit better to attract better. Emit better to attract better, including words. So, tonight we're being asked to make good use of the word written, spoken, thought. The thought, the image, the thought form that Kardec mentions in a book that is probably going to take forever to be translated into English because it's not a priority, Universe and Life, published by Feb many years ago by the medium Hernani Santana, the spirit Oriole teaches us that the only food for the soul is made of cosmic energies of divine essence. Big words that can be summarized in one word that has 4 letters. What is it? What could have divine essence? Which kind of energy? Love. It's love. It's nourishment for the soul. We go to the homeless on Sunday. The problem is if we are not spiritually homeless. Because many of us on earth, we may have a home, we may have a job, we may have a family, and even health. But spiritually, we're starving. Emotionally, we are lost. Because we're not nourishing ourselves with these cosmic energies of divine essence, which is love. We're talking about diet and food, but what about love? There are people who give love just a tiny bit. There is a dog. The dog comes. I mean, I'm not saying to the people who visit us, but do you hug the dog for real? And the cat? And kiss? And why not? And what about your children? They come and we give a mini hug. It's like, or some people just like a tap. They pad. Or like, hug. We're talking about the people who we are allowed to hug, right? No invasion of privacy here. Some people don't want to be hugged. That's okay. But hug. People want it. And kiss. And we're not talking about sexual harassment or invasion of privacy, but you see how important it is for children to be validated by knowing, like, oh, I'm so loved. Do you know I love you? Go to sleep. I love you. And kiss and hug. Physically, it changes our physiology. Even in animals. It releases endorphins that calms us down, but does many other things. It activates, the minimum we can say, it activates the parasympathetic system, which is the opposite of the stress mode, the fight or flight. And then we'll be calmer. When I see kids who are hyper excited, besides when we give them sugar, because that I've noticed easily. Besides that, we can see they need this physical contact we don't have anymore. Or maybe people have never had in previous generations. But now we're at a time when science validates that it's so important, it's a remedy, it's nourishment. And then we add words. We add words. Words are powerful. If I ask you, do you remember in your childhood something that somebody says that you never forgot? Is there anybody here who says, no? I have never had that impacting moment in my life. Is there anybody here who says, no? Everybody does, right? You remember when somebody said something so encouraging or so important or something so hard, right? So important. It's our turn now to make a change. No matter what happened in the past, right now, we can change. We can make a difference. If you ask, where do I begin? For words to come out, we need to begin in our thoughts. As Prentice Mulford, the author of the book Thoughts Are Things, we need to begin in our thoughts. And what does that mean? We need affirmations. So if there are two things we need to do is affirmations and visualizations. And I have here the covers of two of Divaldo Franco's therapeutic visualization CDs. But you know, nowadays, if you go on YouTube, you're going to find 10,000 there. Louise Hayes, Wen Dyers, Bernie Siegel, so many in Portuguese, English, so many. So we are at a moment that it's so, there are apps, the Calm app, there are so many apps nowadays. Use it every day. Tell ourselves, if we cannot make it up on the go, we then press a button and we're being nourished. That is love towards ourselves. We're going to become stronger. Like Louise Hay says, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And just repeat like a monkey. I love you. If the monkey could speak, right? Like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then one day you'll look at yourself and, oh, I really love you. I see you're prettier than yesterday. Wow, look at your eyes, look at your mouth, look at yourself. And it looks like you're no longer looking older because you're looking prettier. You never noticed before. Did you know that Queen Elizabeth, at Shakespeare's time, in the 1600s, she spent 20 years without looking at herself in the mirror? And she had black teeth. She didn't know. She never looked at herself in the mirror. She was a queen. It's funny. Sometimes we are in a position we don't realize who we are, how we look like, what we are emanating. But it's important for us to have that relationship with ourselves. So affirmations and visualizations will help us shape this mental field so we can start speaking in a more healing way and be promoters of healing daily. Now listen to Prentice Mulford. This was before Kardec. This American, wise American. I'm not going to say he was a spiritualist because he's a forerunner of spiritualism. So he's the thinker. He says in this book that I would recommend, it's so easy to read, Thoughts Are Things. It's your business to push on, find more, and increase your own individual happiness. And he's not saying this in a selfish way. He's saying self-love. It is on us. He says in a very American way, it's your business. It is our business to push on. And Emmanuel says, press on. Go. Expand. Take new courses. You don't need to leave your room, read a new book. Listen to a book, talk to new people, and learn new things, new abilities that only humans can do. Knitting, humans. Crochet, humans. Painting, humans. I mean, even if you show me an elephant painting, I mean, that's a unique elephant. Not all elephants do that. I know they are able, because we know as a spiritist that they are intelligent spirits, but we're talking about abilities at human level that can increase our quality of relationships with ourselves and naturally with one another. So when we open the book Genesis in the Bible that talks about the beginning of the world, what does it say? That how did the world begin as reported there? Let there be light, and there was light. The Word. The Word. It's in our unconscious, the collective unconscious, the power of words. But let us begin with ourselves. Let us tell ourselves, I am light. And let there be light. I am light. I am love. I am peace. I'm joy of living. Now try together. Let's try together, please. Because we need to feel it. And remember the water in our body. We need to tell the molecules in our body, everything's fine. The cells are there. What do? Light. Go do your best. We're together doing our best. So let there be light, and there was light. And we tell ourselves, I am light. Am light. I am peace. I am joy of living. Now let us close our eyes and visualize the earth right now, and visualize the whole planet as if the whole group of humans that are inhabiting the planet are saying together, I am light. I am peace. I am joy of living. We are light. We are peace. We are joy of living. And one more time. You are light. You are peace. You are joy of living. Let us breathe in and out and visualize our Master Jesus with us, enveloping the whole planet in this peace, the light, and the joy of living. Let us now visualize our homes, and our Master Jesus there, embracing everyone who lives there, and repeating there, we are light, we are peace, we are joy of living. Let us all now raise our thoughts in hope and visualize the White House enveloped by the light of the Master, Jesus. And he's there repeating out loud, you are light. You are peace. You are joy of living. You are a child of God too. And rays of healing light spreading themselves all around. And connecting with all the nations in the world in peace and calmness. our Master Jesus is calling us to help, to hold this visualization for the benefit of all. Let us visualize a heart of light protecting our planet Earth. Harmonizing it. And the rays of light going to the depth of the center of the earth, to the darkest zones, to the darkest dimensions. And we visualize the release, the rescue work of millions of lives. Breathing in and out, let us visualize that beautiful heart of love pulsating and staying on the top of our hearts, re-energizing us, nourishing us with these cosmic energies of divine essence. Love, pure love. And we now are going to dim the lights and continue this therapeutic moment with the passes.